The simple question that's before you is, do you kill her? That's the question. She has done something very bad. She did. And you have convicted her for that. You have told her that she is guilty of first-degree murder for that. But the question is now, do you kill her? The strongest mitigating factor that you have before you is the fact that she has no criminal history. This is not something that she was doing over and over again. Jodi was just 27 years old when she killed Travis. And at the time that she did it, she had no prior criminal history. And I want to be clear about that. No prior criminal history means she's not been convicted of anything else before in her entire life. That is a mitigating factor, and that is a reason to show mercy. We're not talking about whether or not to convict her. We're talking about whether or not to kill her. And so when we talk about that, it matters that she was 27 years old and that she had no criminal history. It matters that she hadn't done anything wrong in her life before that.
She also told you that she doesn't have any prior criminal history. And they told you, well, she's never done this before, so that shows what a good person she is. Well, if you take a look at that particular argument, usually people, when they kill in this horrendous fashion, usually the police go out and arrest them so as to not give them the opportunity to do this again. So when they tell you she never did this before, really that is not a mitigating circumstance. Additionally, a criminal history talks about, if you will, an offense to the public good or to the public order. Because if everybody were allowed to commit offenses, you would have anarchy in society. That's the part of the reason.
Objection, Your Honor. Improper argument.
You may continue.
We're talking about what a crime is. And one of the things that they told you, she doesn't have any history of this. Well, actually, if history is what we're talking about, weren't you present for some of that history? Weren't you present when she sat in that witness chair after taking an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and look each and every one of you in the eye and started to talk?
Objection, Your Honor. Improper argument.
Overruled.
And talk to you about the events leading up to the crime. Specifically, she talked to you, for example, I'll just pick one, the example about the gas cans. Well, most of you know what perjury is. That doesn't mean that she has been convicted. No one is saying that. But just because you're not convicted does not mean that you have not engaged in criminal conduct.
Objection, improper argument.
Overruled.
And with regard to her lying, they told you during their closing arguments, well, yes, after this happened, she did lie, and she lied to the police over and over again. Well, isn't that also a crime to lie to the police during their investigation? But again, don't look to that. Just look past that. Just look to what we're alleging, that there is no criminal history. There is a history here. There is a criminal history, and this is not.
Improper argument.
Overruled. You may finish your sentence.
And this is not a mitigating circumstance. And if you find that she does not have any prior criminal history, and you find that that's a mitigating circumstance, even though you know she has committed other crimes, again.
Objection. There is no prior convictions.
Overruled. You may continue.
It doesn't have anything to do with the crime. And the same thing with being a good friend, or that she lacks support from her family, or that she was neglected as a child and is trying the best to improve herself. Under both of those scenarios, and those are the scenarios that you may have, where none of these are mitigating circumstances, or some of them are mitigating circumstances, as you may find them, that if you find that some of them are mitigating circumstances, they don't have any connection to the killing, and therefore they are not entitled to much weight. It's the state's position, they are entitled to no weight.
When the prosecutor talks about criminal history, she doesn't have any. And so all he can come up with is the fact that she's lied. We know she's lied. Absolutely she's lied. That's been this whole case. His lies and manipulations. That's been the entire case. But lying is not a capital offense. We're asking you not not to sentence her to death because she lied. You have convicted her of first-degree murder. She does not need to be sentenced to death because of the lies. We are asking you to find mercy. It's begging. It's begging for her life at this point.
Nothing that they have presented here, nothing that has been presented in any of the phases is a mitigating circumstance. But if one or two of you, or perhaps more than that, find that one of these factors that they set out for you, of these 8, is a possible mitigating circumstance, is it sufficiently substantial to call for leniency when you take a look at what this individual did?